Fortnite leveled up in Chapter 7 Season 3 with the new Sprite collection system, and today I'm going to rank each one of them from worst to best. The first sprites on this list are completely trash. Coming in at last place on this list is the Punk Sprite. Now, at level 1, you rarely have a chance to get infinite ammo, and then even at level 5, you rarely have a chance to get infinite ammo. And think about it, in the game, do you really need a sprite that's going to give you infinite ammo? We already have so much ammo on the map that we don't really need this perk of this sprite. So, it's probably the worst sprite on this list. For those reasons, the first sprite on this list, the Punk Sprite, is going to go straight into F tier. Coming in at 24th place is the Earth Sprite. And now the Earth Sprite actually has the chance to grant rarer loot at each level up, starting at 10% all the way up to 20%. But think about it, you don't really need extra loot in a match. What you really need is extra damage or something that's going to help you eliminate your opponent faster. Extra loot is not going to help you eliminate your opponent. This is the first looting sprite on this list, and like a lot of other ones on this list, it is not very good. Following right behind the Punk Sprite is the Earth Sprite, right into F tier. Speaking of looting sprites on this list, the Llama Sprite is actually another looting sprite. It has the chance to grant a weapon upgrade from 5% to 20% whenever you open up an ammo box. But I don't know about you guys, I don't really open up ammo boxes around the map. I usually just loot for my weapons and then I go from there. Even then, it only does a small amount of damage each upgrade, with a rare striker pump shotgun only doing just a little bit less damage than a legendary striker pump shotgun. Llama Sprite, like the other trash sprites before it, going straight into F tier as well. The Water Sprite, my beloved OG sprite. It used to be so good, healing 2 shield or health every single second you're in its radius. But now the new Water Sprite only replenishes shields whenever you're standing in the water, and it is just such a slow amount of shield, it's not even worth picking it up, in my opinion. My beloved Water Sprite going right behind the Llama Sprite. Yet another looting sprite here in the 21st spot, the Dream Sprite. At each level, it gives you a random piece of loot. At max level, it explodes with legendary loot. But exploding with legendary loot isn't really true, because you'll be lucky if you even get one piece of legendary loot. It does also auto extract upon mastering the sprite, but that doesn't really matter. But this sprite really just isn't that good, especially if you're taking it in there, and it is a legendary sprite as well, so the rarity doesn't really make sense. Rounding out the F tiers on this list, another looting sprite, the Dream Sprites, going straight into F tier. These sprites should be left behind. Coming in at 20th place is the Burnt Peanut Sprite, and I have never seen a more controversial thing in Fortnite than probably this sprite. The Burnt Peanut Sprite has a chance of giving you mythic loot upon elimination. At each level, it increases the chances. I have gotten a few mythic items from this sprite, but usually you are not going to get a mythic item with the Burnt Peanut Sprite, and he's just way too common. It does not help out with your sprite collection, and it is not very good for a looting sprite. Our first D tier on this list for I Don't Want to See You Again, the Burnt Peanut Sprite. Next up on the list, we have the Fishy Sprite, and this sprite isn't really useful unless you are in the water or you are taking damage. Most people aren't usually in the water, and most people don't want to take damage, so there's not really a use case scenario for this sprite. It does increase your swimming speed and gives you a little bit of a boost in speed whenever you take damage, but again, people aren't really doing that much on this map and in this season, so it isn't very useful. Y'all remember Fishy on me? What about Fishy get straight into that D tier? Here in the 18th spot is the Peaky Peely Sprite. This sprite is another looting sprite, but this time it has the chance to show you rare sprites around the map. The thing is though, it has the negative effect that the medallions used to have, where you would be seen on the map whenever using it. That just completely takes away the benefits of this sprite, and you're actually probably going to be hunted down more with this sprite than if you didn't have it on at all. The Peaky Peely Sprite, another mid sprite, is following right behind the Fishy Sprite. Here comes the Duck Sprite in 17th place. It heals you whenever you emote. And starting out at the first level, it is very slow. and does somewhat get higher, up to 8 points of health or shield whenever you get to the max level, but still it is so slow. No matter what, you are not going to be able to emote enough to heal yourself in a fight, and that is why the Duck Sprite is not very good and belongs in the 17th place. The Duck Sprite should have definitely gotten another buff throughout this season because it's going straight into D tier as well. Now we're moving on to mid-tier sprites. Our first mid-tier sprite on this tier list is the Fire Sprite, and now this sprite does an impact of fire whenever you deal enough damage to an opponent, getting less and less of the amount of damage you need with each level. This sprite is actually pretty decent now. It used to be terrible. It used to only lay fire on the ground, but now it got buffed. It's pretty decent. Our first C tier on this list is the Fire Sprite. That damage really does build up, and he deserves this C tier. The Demon Sprite comes in at 15th place, and this sprite actually gives you Siphon upon elimination of an opponent. It is health and shield, but the amount of Siphon really isn't too much to goggle over. It is 10 health and shield to start off with at level 1, and then whenever you master the sprite at level 5, it does get up to 30 health and shield for the Siphon. It unfortunately isn't like the OG Siphon, and that's why it is pretty mid on this list. The Demon Sprite, another mid healing sprite on this list, going straight into C tier behind the Fire Sprite as well. Oh, the 0 point sprite right around the mid-tier section of this list. This sprite really isn't that good in build mode of Fortnite Battle Royale. You get a shield bubble junior whenever you pop heals, and it increases the duration with each level of the sprite. Now, this sprite is kind of decent in 0 build, but still, for the amount of rarity it has with it and the amount of mystique and mythicness, this sprite really should have a better power with it. For how rare this sprite is, it should not be this mid. The 0 point sprite might still be good in 0 build, but it's still going straight into C tier. Vinny Jr. comes in at the 13th place spot. It was a mid-season update that added him, and he's actually probably one of the most decent mid-tier sprites on this list. He gives sort of like a nitro effect whenever you do slide, and then whenever you slide kick an opponent, you also get a speed boost of your shotgun, AR, whatever you're using, whatever weapon you're using. But it is just so hard to slide kick an opponent in 2026. Most people can't do it, unfortunately. The Vinny Jr. sprite came through a mid-season update, and mid just completes that sentence entirely, so it's going in C tier behind the 0 point sprite. These next sprites are decent. Starting out the decent sprite, obviously it has to be the Aura Sprite. It has Aura in the name. Whenever you deal damage to opponents, you get a Shock Rock, and Shock Rocks are one of the best mobility items that have ever been added to Fortnite, and it just completes the sentence right there. Shock Rocks, mobility, perfect. You're dealing damage to opponents anyways whenever you take fights, and it gets less damage whenever you level up the sprite as well. So it is our first decent sprite here in the 12th place spot. Aura this, Aura that. The Aura Sprite is the very first B tier sprite. He can get right onto that tier list. How fitting is it that the 7th sprite is in 11th place spot? 7-11, get it? That little joke? Alright, the 7th sprite basically allows you to see opponents' footsteps and gives you a higher field of the footsteps at each level. So basically, with more distance in each level, that's really good. And it helps you eliminate opponents more because you can see where they are going and their footsteps. This is also really good for team game modes because your teammates can also see the footsteps as well. So it's not just a solo sprite, it is a team game mode sprite as well. It is a very decent sprite on this list. The 7th sprite, allowing you to track other players' footsteps, gets into that decent section of the list, another B tier. Next up is the Striker Sprite here in the 10th place spot. And the Striker Sprite basically gives you the overdrive effect whenever you mantle, hurdle, or wall kick. That is a really good effect. It is basically infinite mobility, and that effect lasts longer at each level. Basically, you are getting the overdrive grenade no matter what. Even if you have it on your back, you don't need to hold it in your inventory. This is a very decent sprite, and it's getting way high up here on the list. The overdrive effect is just way too good. Striker Sprite going right behind the 7th sprite. The Iron Mouse Sprite is the newest sprite addition onto this list, and basically with each level you get an increased amount of health and shield ticking each time you get hit and get very low. And you also get the cloak effect, which is very good this season. The only issue I have with this sprite is that the tick speed of the health is just so slow. You're basically not really getting that health back. You're basically only using it for the cloak effect, which is just so good in this season. It helps you get a comeback in a fight. If it wasn't for the cloak ability this season, the Iron Mouse sprite would not be up high on this list, but because of the cloaking effect, it's a B tier. Now we're getting into the actually good sprites. Our first good sprite on this list is the Batman sprite. This is another mythic sprite that came out very recently in the Batman update, and this sprite basically gives you the ability to deploy your Batman cape and use it as a glider. You can also cut it with the new cutting feature with the gliding, and it's just like the grapnel glove that was in Season X with Gotham City. This is such a good mobility item. If you have no other mobility items like the overdrive grenade or the shock rocks this season, I would consider taking this sprite in because it gives you such an advantage over people who do not have this sprite on their back. It should have been B for Batman, but our Batman sprite is the very first A tier on this list. Now we've got the King Sprite here in the 7th place spot. The King Sprite originally did such a little amount of damage to player structures and the buildings, walls, and everything in general that they had to buff it in a mid-season update. Whenever they buffed that King Sprite in a mid-season update, you can now one-shot wooden walls, almost one-shot brick, and almost one-shot metal. This sprite is insane, especially if you get it to level 5 and master it. It is even good at level 1. You can still almost one-shot a wood wall at level 1 with this sprite. This sprite is probably the best sprite in the season for W-keying your opponents, but it does not have the use case scenarios in zero build, and for that, it is still stuck here on the 7th place spot on this list. The mid-season buff for the King Sprite really helps it out a lot. It goes right in front of the Batman Sprite. With the current buffs that the Ghost Sprite has and the original weapons at the start of this season, I would have put the Ghost Sprite at the very first spot on this list. But since the Chaos Reloader Shotgun is not in this season, I still have to put it so far up this list here in the 6th place spot because the cloak effect is just so good, and that buff to grant a longer cloak effect with each reload is so good in a fight. You can literally turn the fight around when you just reload your pistol or shotgun or whatever you're reloading. You can literally just become cloaked and then just get in front of your opponent and just one-shot him in the face. It's that easy. This sprite is so good and deserves everything going for it. The cloak ability this season is just way too good. The Ghost Sprite is going straight into A tier as well. The sprite with the best mobility in this season is the Air Sprite. It is one of the most common sprites, but I love that for a certain reason. You can see it all over the map, it's easy to master, and you get a boost in speed, a boost in jumping. It is so good for W-keying opponents, and you need to pick this sprite up if you have it in your match or if you have it mastered in your collection. No matter what, you should always take this sprite. It helps you eliminate opponents. It is probably the best W-keying sprite in this season and probably seasons to come. Rounding out the A tiers, the Air Sprite. Such good mobility, going straight into A tier. Now let's take a look at the top tier sprites. The Grim Sprite is exactly what a mythic sprite should be. A mythic sprite is very rare and has a low chance of spawning in a sprite chest. This sprite, the Grim Sprite, gives you the ability to mark opponents whenever they damage you. With each level, you get to see the opponent on your screen for a longer period of time. This is a mythic effect. We need more mythic sprites to have effects like this. The 0 point sprite should have gotten 0 dashes. The Grim Sprite, I love it so much. It helps me eliminate opponents and turn the fight around in my favor. This sprite is such a goated sprite and starts out the goated sprites on this list. Now this is what a mythic should be like for how rare it is. The Grim Sprite, our very first S tier on this list. The John Wick Sprite tops our 3rd place spot. You can only find this sprite in Reload unless a Reload player gets eliminated in a normal Battle Royale game. This sprite marks people around your vicinity after you eliminate them or knock them. It also has your teammates seeing that mark as well. This sprite is actually so good, and I'm so glad it has come to the game in this way. It is just the probably best sprite for W King and seeing where opponents are in this version of Fortnite. I love this sprite so much, and I'm going to be using it a lot more before this season ends. The newest sprite this season and landing the 3rd place spot on the S tier is John Wick Sprite. It is so good. The Poyo Sprite is officially the runner-up. Get it? Because this season it's called Runners. But anyways, the Poyo Sprite is the runner-up this season for the sprites ranked from worst to best. And you can see exactly why. With each level that you get this sprite to, you get a better tick of shield or health. This actually heals fast, unlike the Iron Mouse Sprite. And it's basically just like one of the medallions we used to have in seasons past. It is perfect for a competitive player's sprite, and I'm so glad Poyo got his sprite in the game. It looks amazing. It looks exactly like him. The Poyo Sprite is literally the best healing sprite this season, and it 100% deserves the 2nd place spot on the S tier. The best sprite in Fortnite Chapter 7 Season 3 is the Boss Sprite, in my opinion. Think about it. You're going into a match with 250 health total. You are getting 125 health, 125 shield. That is a lot more than the 200 health total you get in a normal match. If you fly into the match with this thing maxed out, you're automatically a 50 health advantage. Think about that. That is insane. You are going to be winning a fight just based off of your health. Not a lot of sprites this season can win you a fight based off that factor alone. This sprite is also very easy to find. Eliminate one of the bosses on the map and you instantly get this sprite no matter what. This sprite is so good and 100% deserves the 1st place spot on this list. He should be getting his own spot on this tier list, but the Boss Sprite is just way too good this season, giving you so much extra health and shield. It's our very last S tier on this list. There you have it, guys. The completed tier list. Each sprite in Fortnite Runners Chapter 7 Season 3 from worst to best. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment what you think about the list and what I should do in the future. If you guys want me to do the sprites next season as well, please let me know. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Also, if you guys want to support me, make sure to enter code Blizzaroonie in the Fortnite item shop. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you all for watching.